welcome to the ICRO True Honours Award. For those of you who haven't met me before, and I suspect that's rather a lot of you, I'm Barbara Connolly. I'm a QC at 7 Bedford Row. And in normal times, we would all meet in person at 7BR, and we'd be able to actually see each other rather than looking at screens. But here we are. These are not normal times, but hopefully next year we'll be able to meet in person. On behalf of 7BR, I'm really, really honoured to be hosting jointly this event with Dawson, Cornwall, as we have done, I think, since the inception of the awards in 2011. It's really, really important that we know the work that people have done and the courage of those people who have been affected. And that's what we're here really to celebrate tonight. I'm not going to say anything more because there's far more important information for us to have. So I'm going to hand over to Diana, who's going to really tell you something more, and then you'll be able to listen and celebrate the awards as we have them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nyla Amin. I am director of ICRO Women's Rights Organization. Thank you, Barbara. I am delighted to welcome you to ICRO Women's Rights Organization's True Honor Award 2022. True Honor Awards are very close to our hearts at ICRO, as they provide an opportunity for us to all come together in support and celebration of each other, to inspire and strengthen our collective movement to end honor-based abuse. The True Honor Award also commemorates those who cannot be with us because their lives has been stolen by honor crime. Their perpetrators have tried to erase them, but we will never let them be forgotten. It is only March, and we have already heard of so many so-called honor killing this year in Iran, Kurdistan, and all around the world. We demanded justice for Mariam, for Shaniar, for Mona, for Doski, for Sahan, for Maria, and so many more. We also learned last month that the brother of Qandil Baluch, who murdered her in an honor killing in Pakistan 6 years ago, was acquitted after his parents pardoned him under Islamic law. We can never accept impunity for honor killing. Denying justice means injustice to the victim and to all who loved her. It sends a dangerous message that honor-based abuse and honor killing are accepted. The deeply harmful notion of honor and shame must be challenged, and justice plays a critical role in this. This year, following the withdrawal of international troops, we are seeing women and girls in Afghanistan betray their rights that they had been promised and left at imminent risk from the fundamentalist Taliban. ICRO is proud to be working to support newly arrived Afghan families through safe space, support groups, and counseling. But so few in need of protection have so far given safe access to the UK. The British government must do better immediately for Afghans, for Ukrainians, and for all in need of asylum. And at the same time, we are deeply concerned by the raft of government legislation being pushed through that is harmful to women's rights. This includes Nationality and Immigration Bill, better named the Anti-Refugee Bill, which threatens to severely restrict the ability for women to claim asylum on the ground of gender-based abuse, or a route to protection on which many of women ICRO supports rely. These changes are especially concerning at this time, as the lasting impact of the pandemic of women and girls who have experienced violence continue to unfold. Whilst there are major challenges, there is also real hope. ICRO has been campaigning to end honor-based abuse from the day we were founded almost 20 years ago. In this time, we have made extensive progress toward our goal. What we want to see is a holistic approach. Core to this are the specialist services that ICRO's expert team provides: advice and advocacy, refuge, counseling, training, as well as education for young people and for wider society, and training for safeguarding professionals. We know this approach works, and as ever, our call is for sustainable funding. It is also essential that the law is on the side of women and girls at risk, making it clear that no form of honor-based abuse will be accepted, and that the safeguarding professionals have a duty to act. Just under 2 weeks ago, we were in Parliament celebrating a milestone moment for our Safeguard Future Ban Child Marriage campaign, which runs as a co-chair of Girls Not Bride UK. We joined Pauline Latham MP, who is with us tonight, as her private member bill, which we have worked closely with her on for a number of years, finally completed its last stage in the House of Commons. It is now under the guidance of Barnes Saak, who is also with us tonight, to pass through the House of Lords. We are optimistic that soon our determination will have paid off and there will be a historic change to the law, meaning that all children in England and Wales will be safeguarded from all forms of child marriage, including outside of the UK. And this year, we also launched our successful Virginity Does Not Define Me campaign to challenge the false, harmful notion of virginity and ban the harmful practices of virginity testing and hymenoplasty. We are delighted that after a collaborative effort in which Richard Holden MP, also with us this evening, and Barnes Saak played key roles. Both harmful practices are set to be banned under the Health and Care Bill, alongside a commitment to raising awareness through education and in the community. I would like to take this opportunity to thank ICRO staff, volunteers, and trustees for their dedication, skills, and contribution. I would also like to thank our funders for their crucial support, which enables us to have such impact. The True Honor Awards would not be possible without the help of our wonderful judges and our long-term event sponsors and supporters, 7 Bedford Row Chambers, Dawson Cornwall, Muhtar Singh, and the Association of Asian Women Lawyers. Thank you also to everyone who put nominations forward, and to all the nominees for all you have done and continue to do, taking a stand against honor-based abuse. I am now excited to hand over to Mariam Pasha and Shaheen Hishmat, who will be announcing the nominees. Mariam is director and the curator at the TEDx London and TEDx London Women, and patron to ICRO. Shaheen is a writer, campaigner, and survivor of honor-based abuse, who was our winner to the True Honor Award in 2016, and is now Senior Project Manager at the Living Wage Foundation. Thank you. Hand it over Mariam and Shaheen.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Deanna. It's a pleasure to be here. We will now be announcing the nominees for the True Honor Awards 2022. Amina Muslim and BME Women's Resource Centre, an award-winning organisation that empowers and supports Scottish, Muslim, and Black and minority ethnic women. They promote inclusivity and challenge discrimination and systemic inequality. Amina operates a national helpline to support girls and women who are experiencing honour-based abuse in Scotland. They also tackle honour-based abuse through advocating for women and girls' rights and community education. Amina's current Say Her Name campaign commemorates the victims of honour killing through an art exhibition. They also ran the You Can Change This campaign, raising awareness about violence against women in Scotland, and the I Speak for Myself campaign to challenge stigma and negative stereotypes concerning Muslim women. Amina won the CEMVO Ethnic Minority Impact Award for contributing to positive social change within Scottish society. Amina was also awarded the Good Governance Award and the Volunteer Friendly Award. Amina Muslim and BME Women's Resource Centre, thank you for all you do to take a stand against honour-based abuse.
Thank you, Mariam. We move on to Inspector Alan Davis, who joined the Metropolitan Police Service in 1996 and has an extensive background in developing a multi-agency strategic response to complex public protection issues. He's a Metropolitan Police Service operational lead for harmful practices, including FGM, forced marriage, honour-based abuse, and abuse linked to witchcraft and spirit possession, working at both a national and international level. Alan led on developing the US and UK law enforcement proclamation of interagency support on FGM investigations, and is the author of the Guidance for Schools and Colleges, Safeguarding Young People from Sexual Violence, Child Sexual Exploitation and Harmful Practices. He's Deputy Chair of the National Working Group on Abuse Linked to Witchcraft and Spirit Possession, and is National Lead for Operation Limelight, a multi-agency safeguarding operation that focuses on harmful practices at the UK border. Inspector Alan Davis, thank you so much for all that you do to take a stand against honour-based abuse.
Next, we have the Domestic Abuse Volunteer Support Services. DAVSS is a charity based in West Kent that provides vital support services for anyone experiencing domestic abuse or honour-based abuse through an effective professional volunteering model. They run a helpline, carry out risk assessments, and provide advice and advocacy, enabling access to free legal advice, and run peer support groups and training programs for survivors. They also deliver safe and healthy relationship courses in schools and colleges, train businesses and community groups, and raise public awareness. DAVSS was the first agency in West Kent to successfully apply for a forced marriage protection order for a young girl whose family wanted to force her to go to Pakistan to enter a child marriage. In 2019, DAVSS received the Queen's Award for Voluntary Services. Zoe Satar, Domestic Abuse Manager at the Domestic Abuse Volunteer Support Services, thank you for all you do to take a stand against honour-based abuse.
Richard Holden MP is a Member of Parliament for North West Durham and is Parliamentary Private Secretary to the Department for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport. Richard took the parliamentary lead in identifying virginity testing as a form of violence against women and girls taking place in the UK that must be stopped. He introduced a private member's bill calling for a ban of virginity testing. When ICRO approached Richard to widen his focus to also banning hymenoplasty, ensuring extraterritorial effect and securing government funding for education in schools and the community to end these harmful practices, he committed wholeheartedly to collaboratively achieving these changes as quickly as possible. Richard worked closely with ICRO, other charities, the Royal College of Midwives, the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, and pro bono lawyers. Together, we held a successful parliamentary drop-in event, achieving 50 signatures of support from MPs to back new clauses to the Health and Care Bill. Richard helped maintain pressure on the government, which has now resulted in the ban of both virginity testing and hymenoplasty being added as amendments to the bill and a government commitment to a wider education programme. Richard Holden, thank you so much for all that you do to take a stand against honour-based abuse.
Thank you, and thank you very much for the certificate. It's very kind of you all, and I must say that it's been an absolute honour to work with you guys and all the people across the sector actually on this, on what has been not a quicker campaign than I ever thought was going to actually possibly happen. And I bumped into one of the clerks in Parliament earlier in the week, and he said he couldn't quite believe how quickly it had gone from that private member's bill, which fell at the end of the last session, to actually legislation. But a lot of that is down to you guys and the huge amount of support that you've given me in helping drive this forward. So I just want to say thank you so much. And I really think that this is going to be hopefully a groundbreaking piece of legislation, which alongside Pauline's bill will two just really significant changes to the way that we deal with things in Britain, and hopefully can push things in other countries as well in that direction in the future. So just thank you all for your help and support.
Thanks so much, Richard. Our next nominee is Shavana Kasoor. Shavana has worked locally, nationally and internationally to address forced marriage and honour-based abuse through a number of roles, centering the experience of minoritized women. In 2009, Shavana helped establish the Sky Project, the first charity in Bristol dedicated to tackling these issues by improving professional skills and confidence in meeting the needs of survivors. In 2017, Shavana set up the first harmful practices operational group in Haringey. And in 2020, she secured government funding for a harmful practice coordinator for the Tri-Borough. She commissioned the Angelou Partnership, a nationally recognized service which consists of a number of specialist buy and force services that tackle honour-based abuse. Shavana also delivers training and undertakes consultancy to improve responses, including on domestic homicide reviews, to review practice and improve prevention. Shavana recently started a PhD researching the ways global education can be improved to better address the human rights of women. Shavana Kasoor, thank you for all you do to take a stand against honour-based abuse.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for this award.
Thank you. Imran Mandzur is the founder and director of Breaking the Silence, an organisation based in Bradford that supports South Asian men who are survivors of child sexual abuse and men at risk of honour-based abuse, forced marriage and domestic abuse. In collaboration with partner agencies, Imran has prevented several at-risk young men from boarding flights and has supported others to return safely. Imran also runs Mushwara, a therapy service for Black and Asian men. He educates frontline services on the plight of young men from South Asian communities who experience honour-based abuse and spiritual abuse, on the intersection of gender and race, and is an associate of Safe Lives, Diversity Matters and Hope Training. Imran Mandzur, thank you so much for all that you do to take a stand against honour-based abuse.
Annabelle Moores is the Violence Against Women and Girls lead for a local authority. She previously worked with Advance and Refuge. She is dedicated to ensuring better awareness of honour-based abuse across the council and its partners. Annabelle believes that partnership is key, and she oversees and promotes collaboration with specialist services. She ensures that their expert input and the voices of survivors guide the local authorities' strategic response to ending honour-based abuse. Annabelle also prioritizes support for women who have no recourse to public funds. She is part of a working group of public and third sector providers working together to collect data to understand the local picture of honour-based abuse to improve responses to better meet survivors' needs. Annabelle Moores, thank you for all you do to take a stand against honour-based abuse.
Sabrina Peruse is a solicitor and director of the Sky Project, a Bristol-based charity that delivers accredited training on forced marriage and honour-based abuse to a variety of groups and professionals. The Sky Project was founded in response to research that raised concerns that forced marriages were going under the radar in Bristol, as many children were not returning to school. Sabina and most of the team run the charity pro bono, and most know people who've been impacted by forced marriage. They're truly driven from the heart. The charity is currently focusing on police training, as in the current climate, they want to help rebuild trust. Sky Project held a successful conference on honour-based abuse last year with high-profile speakers. Sabina chairs the Bristol Forced Marriage Working Group, bringing key organisations together to share and promote best practice. Sabina, thank you for all you do to take a stand against honour-based abuse.
Shavana UK is a leading national charity based in Liverpool, tackling honour-based abuse, forced marriage, and female genital mutilation. They support survivors of any age, culture, sexuality, or gender who are at risk to leave abusive environments and find their Shavana, meaning new beginning in Hindi. Shavana UK provides a national helpline, life-saving services, and educates and empowers professionals, young people, and the general public through research, consultancy, and training services. They campaign to eliminate honour-based abuse and challenge harmful attitudes, prejudice, and practices that violate individual human rights. The Shavana UK Youth Programme was established in 2017 to inspire the next generation and encourage them to speak out against harmful practices and educate their peers on the issues. We're joined by Afra Kasim, CEO and founder of Shavana UK. Thank you for all you do to take a stand against honour-based abuse.
Baroness Sugg CBE is a life peer with a clear commitment to advancing women and girls' rights. She's worked closely with ICRO and stakeholders to achieve a ban of the harmful practices of both virginity testing and hymenoplasty. She helped maintain pressure on the government to ensure that the legislative opportunity to achieve these vital changes within the Health and Care Bill was not missed. Her oral question led to the minister announcing publicly for the first time that he would be pushing for a ban of hymenoplasty as soon as possible, which was reported by the BBC. Baroness Sugg's dedication was demonstrated when she stayed into the early hours to speak at the debate on these harmful practices at the House of Lords. Baroness Sugg is now set to support ICRO and their fellow Girls Not Brides co-chairs Safeguard Future's Ban Child Marriage campaign by taking Pauline Latham MP's Marriage and Civil Partnership Minimum Age Bill through the House of Lords. Baroness Sugg, thank you for all that you do to take a stand against honour-based abuse.
April Dawn Venter is Director of Creating Equals, which finds meaningful solutions to health and race inequalities. She runs a recovery group for Black and Brown women impacted by domestic abuse. April works with schools and communities to understand the impact of FGM and honour-based abuse. Projects she has contributed to include Impacts of Domestic Abuse for BAME Women in Northampton. April is a broadcaster on the Woman with Soul show and Conversations with April Dawn on NLive Radio. April features in the Hope Digital Art Project, #12women, celebrating Black, Asian and minority ethnic women working, advocating and campaigning within the domestic abuse and sexual violence sector. April Dawn Venter, thank you for all you do to take a stand against honour-based abuse.
Sarah Wigley is the founder of I thought I was on mute there, apologies. Sarah Wigley is the founder of SW Associates, who specialise in supporting frontline professionals and agencies, whose work involves responding to victims of domestic abuse and honour-based abuse. Sarah's trained thousands of professionals, including police, social care and domestic abuse workers. She's worked with Hope Training for over 10 years and co-wrote and delivers their honour-based abuse and forced marriage training. She's also been an associate with Safe Lives for more than 12 years. Sarah is a vocal activist and ally and supports the centering of women with lived experience. Sarah Wigley, thank you for all you do to take a stand against honour-based abuse.
Sahar Zand is a multimedia reporter and filmmaker who has fronted and produced a range of award-winning stories from across the world, including for the BBC, Channel 4, ITV and Vice. Sahar escaped Iran, aged 12, with her mother and sister before relocating between refugee camps across Europe. The adversity she faced during these years was captured in her radio documentary, Me the Refugee, and has given her the insights into the experience of marginalized communities and enabled her to report from a unique perspective rarely seen in the mainstream media. Sahar's recent documentary, Britain's Virginity Clinics Uncovered, which featured Paisy Mahmood, ICRO's campaigner, exposed clinics making money from virginity testing and hymenoplasty. Sahar also interviewed Paisley for her recent radio documentary, My Sister Banaz, Killed for Loving the Wrong Man, for the BBC, focusing on ICRO's Safeguarding Futures Ban Child Marriage campaign. Sahar Zan, thank you for all you do to take a stand against honor-based abuse.
Thank you very much. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I'm very humbling to be alongside so many amazing, amazing people. And congratulations on all the successes, every single one of you, for the recent changes in law. That just goes to show what we can achieve when we work together. And hopefully we can remember that that's just one step, and to achieve the much needed change, we need to continue working together and keep the conversation going. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sahar.
Thanks, Sahar. And our final nominee is Nafsika Vasiliadou. Nafsika is a solicitor working in the field of refugee, human rights, and immigration law. She specializes in protection matters, applications on the basis of domestic violence, and trafficking claims before the Home Office and in court proceedings, having particular expertise in complex cases involving honor-based abuse, gender-based violence, and assisting vulnerable individuals. She has worked with several survivors of gender and honor-based abuse and believes in providing a holistic approach to advising the individuals that she has assisted, by not only securing their immigration status, but also taking into account their recovery and mental health needs, as well as supporting them to acquire tools for their own self-empowerment. She is dedicated in fighting for gender equality and women's rights through her work and beyond through volunteering, and will continue to do so. Nafsika, thank you for all you do to take a stand against honor-based abuse.
Thank you so much, everyone, for including me, and thank you to everyone for all your great work.
Thank you. We are now thrilled to be announcing the winners of awards for special recognition before announcing the winner of the True Honour Awards 2022. And we're going to begin with Mindy Mahel, who wins special recognition of a professional working to end honour-based abuse. Mindy served as a police officer for 30 years. The final 4 years of his career were with the Public Protection Unit, where Mindy specialised in honour-based abuse cases. Mindy helped achieve the first forced marriage conviction in England in 2017, and he achieved a second in 2020. Working with foreign embassies and NGOs, Mindy's helped to repatriate over 25 survivors of forced marriage in FGM. After retiring from West Midlands Police in 2019, Mindy returned as an investigator for the Public Protection Unit, and he's currently the force's subject matter expert for forced marriage and honour-based abuse. In recognition of his expertise, Mindy is on the National Crime Agency Register of Experts. Mindy provides advice to and trains police forces, partner agencies, social workers, and those working within the education sector. He also delivers training for the Forced Marriage Unit and is an associate for Safe Lives, as well as being an ambassador to the Sharon Project. He contributed to the publication Men, Masculinities and Honour-Based Abuse, and he's been featured in 2 episodes of the BBC documentary series, The Moment of Proof. Mindy, congratulations on your award, and thank you for all you do to take a stand against honour-based abuse. I'd like to invite you to say a few short words if you would like to do so.
Thank you. I am greatly honoured for this award, and thank you for the persons that have nominated me. I couldn't make a difference without the support I receive from colleagues and partner agencies and many of the organisations that are present in the ceremony this evening. I am working on cases with ICRO. ICRO probably don't know I work on some of their cases through West Midlands Police, but I think there's some fantastic work that goes on throughout the United Kingdom and collaboratively as well with countries like Pakistan. So thank you very much indeed, and I hope we can all keep up the good work and continue to work together. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have the pleasure of announcing the winner of special recognition for academic contribution to end honour-based abuse, Professor Aisha K. Gill, CVE. Professor Gill is the Professor of Criminology at the University of Roehampton. Her main focus areas include health and criminal justice responses to violence against Black, minority, ethnic and refugee women in the UK, Afghanistan, Iraqi Kurdistan, Libya, India and Pakistan. Professor Gill is often called on to commemorate Professor Gill is often called on to commentate in the news on early child and forced marriage, honor-based abuse, domestic abuse, and sexual violence. She has published widely in peer-reviewed journals, and in 2015, she was involved in a research project commissioned by Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary documenting the experience of victims and survivors of honor-based abuse, including forced marriage and female genital mutilation. In 2017, she was funded by the Hertfordshire Police Crime Commissioner to conduct research on honor-based abuse, forced marriage, and female genital mutilation. In April 2021, Professor Gill was appointed as one of the 5 judges for CEDAW's People's Tribunal hearing on women's human rights in the UK. And from December 2021, Professor Gill will be working on a Home Office funded research project that focuses on better understanding the motives and patterns of perpetuating family violence in Black and racially minoritized and LGBTQI+ communities. Professor Gill has actively improved victim support policies. Her contribution as an expert witness has helped achieve justice for a number of survivors of honor-based abuse. In June 2020, she set up an emergency COVID-19 fund for survivors of abuse with no recourse to public funds, which has raised over £87,000. Professor Gill, congratulations on your award, and thank you for all that you do to take a stand against honor-based abuse. I'd like to invite you to share a few short words.
Thank you very much for the invitation. And I'm actually in a booth. It's like a really condensed space, but so it's really surreal. So I've been messing around with my IT configuration. So first and foremost, a massive thank you. I'm really honoured to be recognised in this way by ICRW. Just to say that in the last 2 years, it's been a really critical period in terms of working in new ways to protect victims of gender-based violence, particularly in relation to violence predicated in the name of honour. And we know our work as grassroots activists and scholars working on the sections of violence, we are very aware of the growing racialized accumulative disadvantages, particularly in our communities. And you know, I just want to take this moment, if I may, just to recognise those of us amongst us who continue to fight against pernicious forms of patriarchal violence, and especially those of us who have also lost loved ones as a result of honour-based femicide. I guess looking ahead in the times that we're in these chaotic times that we're in, and the monstrosities that are being committed against violence against women and children, from Afghanistan to Yemen, to Somalia, to Palestine, Ukraine, and we need to kind of join the dots. And I guess we have to be even more vigilant in terms of our work, in terms of, you know, challenging our public institutions, and you know, ensuring that we continue to take action around safety and justice. And I dedicate this award to all survivors and victims of honour-based violence. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So the judges have selected 2 winners of special recognition as survivor activists tackling honour-based abuse. Renu Tina Kenworthy came to the UK when she was 21 years old. 2 years later, she got married in India and returned to live with her husband in England. Within weeks, she knew that her husband was not the right person for her, but she was repeatedly told that she was expected to follow in the same footsteps as her grandmother, mother, and sisters, to be a respectful daughter, sister, wife, and mother. The marriage was extremely abusive and contributed to one of her 4 sons being stillborn. Tina tried to leave the abusive marriage several times, but was pressured to remain and to not take any steps that could be seen to bring shame and dishonour to her family in the UK or India. Tina, her children, and her neighbours all called the police many times, and she repeatedly felt let down by them. After 15 years of abuse, Tina bravely left the marriage for good. After attending a 12-week domestic abuse recovery toolkit programme, she decided to speak out about her experiences of honour-based abuse and domestic abuse to help other women access support. Tina has shared her experiences through the media and at events, including with Leicestershire Police at the South Asian Heritage Month and Domestic Abuse Awareness discussion, and as part of the 16 Days of Activism with Xynthia Trust and Hope Training and Consultancy. Tina's celebrated in the 100 Women Hope Digital Art Project, and she describes herself now as not just surviving, but thriving. Tina, congratulations on your award as winner of special recognition as survivor activist tackling honour-based abuse. Thank you for all that you do to take a stand against honour-based abuse. And we'd love to share a few short words if you would like to.
Thank you. I would like to say thank you to ICRO for this award, amazing award and work they're doing around honour-based abuse. I want to thank Mina from Hope for nominating me and all the support, guidance and help during and after my domestic abuse journey. I would like to thank my 3 boys, Govind, Kartik, Rahul. They have suffered as much I have suffered through my journey. And I just want to say thank you to my husband, Andrew. Without him, this was not going to be possible. He has been loving, caring, and he showed me what loving and caring relationship means. And my family who joined me today, they has been my rock. Without them, this was not going to be possible. Finally, I have made a promise to myself that I will try to make difference to someone's life who is sadly going through same as me. I won't suffer in silence anymore in the name of honor, shame, or guilt. I'm not just surviving, I am thriving. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The second winner of the special recognition as Survivor Activist Tackling Honour-Based Abuse Award is for Hana Rival. Hana is an inspiring survivor activist. Almost 20 years after being coerced into a marriage, aged 16, she realized that she was a victim of what should have been a clear-cut crime, child marriage. Hana is sure that had child marriage been a crime at the time, it would not have happened to her. She was taken to Bangladesh for the child marriage under false pretenses and was forced to remain there until she became pregnant. It took years for her to be able to leave the marriage. Hana was determined to pursue her education and now has a successful career as a tax accountant. Hana is inspiringly campaigning with Girls Not Brides UK co-chairs to change the law to ban child marriage. She has shared her experience with the all-party parliamentary group for honour-based abuse and with print and broadcast media, including the BBC, BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Radio Scotland, BBC Asia Network, The Guardian, The Independent and The Telegraph. As a survivor ambassador for Karma Nivarna, Hana has also spoken at training seminars, workshops attended by immigration officials, police, education representatives and health authorities on the subject of honour-based abuse, raising awareness of the impact of forced and child marriage. By bravely speaking out as a survivor and influencing change, Hana is ensuring that girls will be safeguarded from honour-based abuse and have brighter futures. Hana, congratulations on your award and thank you for all you do to take a stand against honour-based abuse. We welcome you to share a few words if you'd like to.
Thank you for my award. I'm slightly embarrassed to accept an award amongst an illustrious group of both panelists and nominees. So I guess, firstly, thank you to ICRO for listening to testimonies like mine. I've just, I feel inadequate having just been a victim of a crime and being amongst so many people that have advocated for change and are passionately, championing my cause and the causes of girls and boys that are suffering and have suffered like me. And I guess additional thanks in particular to not only those that are championing this cause and tirelessly campaigning for change, is to those people that have heard that testimony and are taking that forward, particularly Pauline Latham MP, who is on the call here. My endless gratitude to her, and I'm in awe of her perseverance in pushing that through the Commons, and my in advance gratitude to Baroness Sugg, who will no doubt, I am sure of it, get it through the House of Lords. But ICRO's work over the last 2 years, as mentioned earlier in this session has been instrumental to the massive tides of change that we've had over the last 2 years, changes in law and hopefully child marriage, but FGM, hymenoplasty. It's incredible to finally see this happening. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and thoroughly well deserved. We now move on to Sikh Women's Aid, winner of special recognition for outstanding organisation tackling honour-based abuse. Sikh Women's Aid is first by and for service aimed at Sikh and Punjabi women and children who are victims of domestic and sexual violence, where honour and shame are used to suppress and silence victims. The founding team has a combined 40 years of experience supporting South Asian victims and survivors of abuse. They provide support and education via crisis management, therapeutic and housing support. Sikh Women's Aid are expanding their services to include early intervention and prevention and mental health and resilience building via a dedicated helpline, bilingual support workers and trained volunteers. In 2021, Sikh Women's Aid launched the first ever research of its kind, gathering grassroots experience of the prevalence and impact of domestic and sexual violence in the Sikh and Punjabi community. Damning findings revealed that 70% of respondents had suffered domestic abuse, nearly half from more than one perpetrator. A third of all respondents had experienced child sexual abuse and exploitation, and 1 in 7 had more than one perpetrator. The research has been widely reported on BBC Women's Hour, on multiple BBC regional radio programmes and in The Observer. Sukhvinder Kaur, founder of Sikh Women's Aid, congratulations on your award and thank you for all that you do to take a stand against honour-based abuse. Please do share a few short words if you would like to.
Sukhvinder is on the call somewhere. I'm Shadish, I'm the service lead. Thank you very much to ICRO for this award. Sikh Women's Aid has only been running for 10 months since we formally launched, but the work that we've been doing in the community has sort of spanned over the last 7 years, working directly with the Sikh and Punjabi community, which culminated in Sikh Women's Aid being formed and launched. And we feel really humbled to win this award from yourselves and to be around such inspiring women. So just like to say thank you very much. And there's more to come. There's lots more to come, and there's lots more work to do as well. So thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to announce the winner of the special recognition for parliamentarian tackling honour-based abuse, Pauline Latham Obe, the Member of Parliament for Mid Derbyshire. Her marriage and civil partnership minimum age bill is currently going through Parliament. The bill will set a blanket minimum age of marriage in England and Wales, including both registered and unregistered marriages, and will apply extraterritorially to protect children who are taken outside of the UK to marry. When ICRO, along with their fellow Girls Not Brides UK co-chairs, first met with Pauline several years ago to discuss changing the law to end child marriage, Pauline said that she was determined to see it through and tell her grandchildren that she had. Last month, Pauline's grandchildren were with her at the House of Commons to hear her give a speech at the bill's third reading. Pauline has shown unwavering commitment and tenacity to win government and cross-party support and to get her bill to this stage. This is her third attempt, working with Girls Not Brides UK Coalition to get it through Parliament. The bill was recognised by the responsible minister as one of the most important private members' bills in memory. It will bring England and Wales into line with its international commitments on ending child marriage and safeguard the futures of many thousands of children. Pauline, congratulations on your award and thank you for all you do to take a stand against honour-based abuse. I invite you to share a few words.
Thank you very much indeed, and thank you so much for this award. And I'm delighted to be here to celebrate all the nominees and award winners because they're all amazing people who've been struggling against so-called honour-based abuse, which is, I mean, where that name came from, I don't know, because there's no honour whatsoever in it, and it always shocks me. But I'd like to thank you for all you do, and I couldn't have done what I've done without teamwork, and I've worked with ICRO and other Child's Not Brides and the charities involved in that for, as you said, some years, and at last we've got through the House of Commons side, And what for me was very important was not just changing the age of marriage, but it was changing the criminal law, which makes it an offence to arrange the marriage of a child in England and Wales, or to arrange the marriage of an English or Welsh child anywhere in the world under the age of 18. So I think this is a momentous change which will affect millions of girls and boys over time, and protecting them from what can only be deemed as child abuse. And I do believe it is. And I would like to pay tribute to ICRO for their help and support, and to the particular people who shared their stories. We've heard today from Hana, but there's also Paisley and others who, without them sharing their stories, which have been incredibly powerful, I don't know that I would have been able to continue it, because it hasn't been an easy passage. And I'm just so pleased that we've actually been able to make it and get it through. And I'm hopeful that it will be law by the summer, which will save a lot of girls, particularly girls, going abroad this summer. And what we now need to do is to raise awareness in schools and do a lot of education. And I have met with one of the education ministers to make sure that that gets into the curriculum. And so we're moving forward as we speak. So good luck in the House of Lords, Liz, and I'm sure you would do a good job there too. Thank you.
Thank you, Pauline, and amazing to hear about the next steps in education too. It has been a long road and we are all in awe of you. Thank you. I'm so excited now to announce the winner of the True Honour Award 2022. Nyla Amin is an inspiring survivor activist and a student. She was born in Pakistan and migrated to the United States when she was 4 years old to live in the New York suburbs with her family. When Nyla was 8 years old, she was promised to her cousin, who was 13 years older than her. Aged 15, Nyla was taken to Pakistan and forced to live with her cousin husband. She was held there against her will until the US authorities were alerted, and she was rescued by the State Department in 2005. Nyla began her activism when she was 25 years old, sharing her experiences and raising awareness that child marriage is an American issue. A year later, in 2016, she founded the Nyla Amin Foundation. In 2018, Nyla helped to influence New Jersey to raise its minimum age for marriage, with or without parental consent, to 18. It was only the second state to do so. Shortly afterwards, Nyla went to New York State Assemblyman Philip Ramos and influenced him to introduce legislation to ban child marriage in New York State. Due to the pandemic, Nyla saw the proposed bill start to slip through the cracks. So she emailed every single assembly member and senator in New York State, sharing her own experience and asking them to support the bill. She says, "I think it was about 150 assembly members and it took me days, but I did it. We can't let this happen to our children anymore." Once Nyla found out that the bill had cleared unanimously, she called the office of Andrew Cuomo, the then governor of New York, daily to urge him to sign it. When Cuomo finally signed the bill, making New York the 6th state to ban child marriage, Nyla says, "I just started crying tears of happiness." The law, which is called Nyla's Law, came into effect in summer 2021. Nyla helps many young women by advising them and connecting them with the appropriate resources and legal services, and plans to open the first refuge in the US to house girls escaping forced marriage and honor-based abuse. Her goal is to end child marriage in 50 US states, all of them. She's currently working on a federal bill to raise the minimum age for spousal sponsorship to 18, and Nyla hopes to expand her work internationally. Nyla, I am so thrilled to announce that you are the winner of True Honour Award 2022. Huge congratulations and so much love for you and all that you do to take a stand against honour-based abuse. I'm pleased to invite you to share a few words if you would like.
Thank you so much. This just makes me emotional. It's tears of happiness, tears of hard work. Without my, survivor sisters, my colleagues, without, ICRO, without Paisley, when I've seen her speak everything, I feel like we're all interconnected, and I couldn't have done it without anyone else's support. And it's the fire that is within me. You know, they say sometimes you have to set the world on fire with the truth, whether people like it or not. And that's exactly what I did. Until the day I die and am buried 6 feet under, this fire in me won't die. Child marriage is going to die with me in the United States. I am going to work tirelessly. That's why I have white hair at the age of 32, because we're going state by state, and USCIS needs to really change, you know, their everything. They need to change everything, because you have to be 21 to sponsor a parent, but 0 to sponsor a fiance or anything like that. So the United States is basically literally laundering children in the forms of child marriage. And I just want to say, I cannot believe that I won, and I want to say thank you so much. I will be continue to, you know, I will be working with you guys. I am working, trying to put my fingers everywhere in Pakistan, everywhere. And I want to end this. I'm also an ambassador for Global Indian in the UK. And I really am looking forward to just ending child marriage, any kind of honor abuse. There is no honor. I don't know why it's called honor abuse, because there is no honor in this kind of abuse. The stuff that I've seen here in the 1 month I've been here, you know, seeing my ex-husband after 17 years, the PTSD that came with it, everything. I just want to say once again, thank you. I can say so much, you know, but I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. You know, it's each of us, the, you know, little things that we do that creates this big bubble of people that can't mess with us. So no matter how much they try to poke us or whatever, this little ball that we have created of survivors and advocates and professionals, no one can take that away from us. And I am looking forward to ending child marriage in the UK, because, you know, my husband is from there, and we will do this together. I believe in it. And thank you so much for making me cry. Happy tears.
Thank you so much. And we all love and believe in you so much. We're now going to hand over to Stephen Harker, Managing Partner at Dawson, Cornwall, long-term supporters of ICRO and co-sponsors of the True Honour Awards, who will say a few final words and close the ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, I won't keep you long. I mean, there's very little to say, having heard all those amazing and awe-inspiring stories. But I would just like to congratulate Nyla and the other nominees and winners, and to say well done and thanks to Deanna and the team at ICRO for their continuing and amazing work. We at Dawson Cornwall are very pleased to be able to co-sponsor the event for, I think, the 11th year in a row. And I'd just like to thank you all for attending and joining us once again, and to wish you a very good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.